Hi, this is my Unit D8 personal development presentation. So, for my D8, so I've been playing guitar for a while, and then I thought about a skill that I wanted to improve, and I realised that I never really looked into like working on my scales or pentatonic scales. So like I mainly just I mainly just mess around with chords, learn songs, and then I usually just do what sounds good, but I never really looked into actually being able to play scales, being able to write my own stuff. So I decided my skill was to learn how to basically just learn the pentatonic scales, and then to like improve my knowledge of the fretboard, and then so I'll be able to take it on into the future to be able to introduce that into writing my own stuff, like when I'm playing with my band, or if I'm just writing my own music, I'll be able to like include the use of this scale to be able to solo or write riffs using it really. So that was my plan. So also like I just wanted to be able to improve my skill of playing it by so I chose the guitar solo of Californication. So I'd be able to get used to playing the scale in a way that I just wanted to, I guess. So yeah, so this is my artist inspiration, as I said. Californication, the song where Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, the guitar player, and he wrote his solo using the pentatonic scale for the song, and like it hasn't got the most like complex set of skills used to play it, but just the way he I don't know, he matches the song really well using it. So it's more about the feel and like the way he plays it, and that's what I really like about it, and that's what I would want to do in a song. So I thought it'd be useful to be able to learn this song, to be able to play it, like learn how to play it properly, and then again I'll be able to introduce it to my own sort of writing and style in the future. So I looked into what the pentatonic scale actually was, and then so the scale is a musical scale that consists of the 5 notes in an octave, and then I thought it'd be a good one to learn because it can be used in all sorts of genres like jazz, pop, and like classical music. And then it is an easy scale to learn, so again that's sort of, I didn't want to push myself, well it's pushing myself anyway because obviously it's a new skill to learn, but then I thought what would be a reasonable scale in a reasonable amount of time I'd be able to learn. So I chose this one and it's beneficial in all sorts of genres, and I'll be able to use it. So it sounds good in any order played because there's 5 shapes in the scale, so you can play it. So yeah, it sounds good in any order you play it. So I decided to look into different exercises to start learning the shapes, and then so there was this one I did where I'd go through each shape and learn, obviously there's root notes in the patterns, so I'd go through each shape and then I would just play the root note twice just so I get used to the location of the root notes. So like, it just stays in my brain. So like say if I was messing around and then I'd play a root note, so I'd know where to go from there to know what pattern I'm in, and then where I can go to next really. So then, I forgot to mention at the start, I came up with a plan using this Gantt chart here for what I wanted to do each week over the 8-week progression. So I decided I'd work on the skill, obviously it was a pentatonic scale, so I'd come up with something new each week to do really. So I planned it here, and then I also decided to do a bit of general research about guitar and just like things that'd be useful for me to learn really. So yeah, end of week 1 review. I thought I'd made progression as I found the exercise, and then so I was being able to start learning how to play the scale, and I established what solo I wanted to learn. And then the research for week 1 was the importance of warming up before playing, because like I didn't really warm up at all before playing in general. Like I never really saw the importance of need to really. But like after speaking to like my tutors and stuff about it, like they were like, yeah, you should probably look into it. So I searched about it, and then it turns out it is quite important, because if you don't, you can cause lots of problems in the fingers and the forearms, so like overworking your tendons, your muscles, and it can lead to conditions like tendinitis and carpal tunnel syndrome, So like signs of that happening is like shooting pains or muscles starting to lock up after you're playing, and this can be like serious, and then like in the future you could just be not be able to use them properly. So yeah, so I thought that'd be very useful. So yeah, so I'll be able to use this information in the future, obviously, as I now know to warm up before I start playing. So yeah, it's good. And then week 2, I decided I was going to start practicing the exercise that I came up with even more. And then I recorded a series of videos that I'll show you on my website. So I went through each pattern in the major and the minor pentatonic scale individually, showing each one, playing the root note twice, just so I could show you how I was doing it. I did that throughout the week, and then so I was progressing on that, so I knew what I was doing. And then did some more research for week 2. I chose to do the research on posture while playing, so how you sat. So yeah, so again, this is to avoid potential injuries or strains. So like, say if you're the most common posture mistakes is like playing slumped over instead of like with your back straight, because you're straining your back and like, it's just not a good position to play in really. And then also, like, say if you've got music sheets on the floor or you're looking down at something, it's just straining your neck, so it's not the best. So again, it can just prevent. So I realised I've just got to work on how I'm sitting really while playing, so to avoid potential injuries in the future. So again, it was useful research and beneficial. End of week 2 review, I did the exercise and I felt like I was learning the shapes better. So like from the videos you'll see I've learnt all the shapes in the major and the minor pentatonic. So yeah, and I was beginning to play them more fluently, like getting used to them, know where they are. But I was still using a sheet at the time. So like I had this sheet that I was given by my guitar teacher that had all the notes on, so I was using that. And then so I decided in week 3 I wanted to be able to play it all through in one video, or the whole scale without stopping. So like, I thought I'd show progression, obviously, because instead of just stopping, starting, I'll be able to just play the whole thing through without thinking really, and then without a sheet as well. So yeah, and again I'll just talk about how I've researched about posture and what would be useful for me in the future to prevent me getting injuries. So week 3, I recorded myself playing a video all the way through of the scale. So I'd achieved what I said I was going to do in week 2, so I was happy with that because it's clear progression, because I was clear that I've learned it and I was able to play it without stopping really, like without even thinking about it. So my research for this week was pickups on the guitar, because obviously I said I've had a guitar for a while, but I don't really know what's going on with it, so I don't really know about what like specific parts on the guitar and how they actually work. So I did research into guitar pickups, and then so a guitar pickup is basically the thing on this thing here really, and it takes the vibrations of the strings, and then it converts it into signals that you send to your guitar amp to be able to turn it into audible sound. So like so like it has these magnetic poles and has a coil around it, which creates like an electromagnetic field to allow the poles to be able to pick up the vibrations, and then obviously it all sends it through. So then I did different types of pickups. So these ones here are single coil pickups, as you can tell, and then these are, because like different pickups can affect the tone of the guitar, which I found interesting because I'll be able to use that when deciding, like in the future when I decide if I want a specific tone, I can pick out a guitar which has like these different coils, so I'll be able to get the desired tone I want really. So yeah, single coil pickups are good because they're mainly known for like bright treble heavy tones, and they're good for cutting through a mix, and then they'll project subtleties in guitars playing, which is what's quite popular as well, because like, it picks up all the little sounds. And then these are called humbucker pickups. It's so it uses a pair of these, so there's 2 single coils and they're wound in reverse polarity, and then which removes like the natural 60 Hz hum, which is like produced by single coil pickups. And then these are more popular in, let's say, jazz and heavy rock genre, because because it allows them to produce lower and stronger bass frequencies, which is obviously useful if you're doing heavy rock because you want to have that hard-hitting sound. So yeah, end of week 3 review again. I saw a big stage improvement. I've been practicing the shapes regularly, like for the whole week, the exercise. So again, using less prompts, so I didn't have the sheet by the end of the week. So and then I was playing it all without thinking really. And then, so I decided I wanted to be able to. The next week, we were recording this thing in college, a Christmas song, and I thought, why don't I take this scale and try to use it to improvise? It's like, not something I've never really done, but so I thought I might as well try and use a skill that I've been practicing over the last 2 weeks, and then try and write something on my own, just to show how well I've learnt it really. So I thought, yeah, so that'd be a good chance to do that. And then obviously I spoke about my knowledge being improved by the learning about the pickups. So yeah, again, week 4, my plans to write a solo over this Christmas song that we've been doing in college. I thought it would be useful as it's just shows improved my writing and improvising skills. And I'll also be researching amp settings. So I'll show you the solo that I did on this Christmas song. So this is my website. As you can see, these are the videos of me going through all the individual shapes on the pentatonic scale. And there's a whole playthrough of me doing it without stopping. And then here it is, the Christmas rock solo. Scale to write this. So yeah, so that was the scale, so obviously that was a big step up, and that was like the week I saw probably the most improvement out of everything, because it just shows how much I've learnt, well, it shows how much I've learnt really, yeah. So like, I've been able to create my own solo using the skills that I've been working on, and so yeah, it just shows how much, like, just proves like what I wanted to do, and I've been able to do it. And then, so the work research this week I chose to do was on amp settings. So I thought it'd be useful because obviously again, if I want to like reach a desired tone when I'm playing, I'll be able to just mess around with the amp settings now and then just understand what I'm actually doing. So obviously volume, every amp has a volume control, whether it's a 1 or 2. So 1 would just be just the master volume, which is just a general volume, and then if there is another one, it'll be the clean channel. It'll be used for the distorted channel, so you'll be able to control the volume of the distortion. And then there's a bass knob which controls the low frequency sounds. So yeah, so if you turn it up, you get a more boomy sort of tone, and then reducing it will allow you to get a more balanced tone. Then there's the mid control, which is again the mid-range frequencies. So you'll be able to control them. So it says. Like if you have more mids, you'll be able to be heard better within a band. So like, it's obviously quite a useful setting to know then if you're, say if you're playing within a band, you're going to be more heard, especially if you're playing lead. And then treble, the treble knob controls high frequency sounds, so it gives you a more sharper tone. And then, so yeah, lead guitarists also have this all the way up, so yeah, just so you can be heard really and get all the nice little notes out. End of week 4, I thought, very useful, and then my biggest week of progression, as it shows how I'm still on target, probably more than target, because I'll be able to write my own solo using the scale. And then this has given me confidence towards obviously playing the Californication solo, as it shows I have like basically built up the skills to be able to play a solo using the scale. And then I just speak about my research and why it was useful, which I've already explained. For week 5, I started learning the solo from Californication using YouTube videos, and then I did print off some tab as well off the link on the website. So I was just following it along really. So it started going well here because it's not, as I said, it's not the hardest solo to learn, but it's just the way, the feel of playing it. But so yeah, I was getting used to that. And then research I did this week was on effects and pedals, again for the tone of my guitar playing. Distortion pedals, these pedals mainly use a diode and a transmitter to push signals made by the guitar to the point of clipping, to give it a really fuzzy sound, so then you can get like a range of sounds from like saturation to overdrive to fuzz. So like, any like sort of rocky sound you want, you can achieve this from different sorts of distortion pedals. Chorus pedals is something I'm not a big fan of. It takes the source signals again and it doubles it, and then it sets the second signal slightly out of tune in the time of the first, which then like creates the sound of the instrument being played at the same time. So that's a really nice effect of that I'm planning on using in my own music. Reverb pedals replicates the acoustic like reflections of various spaces. So like some imitate classic reverb types such as springs and plate reverb, and then you can also get other settings where it's replicating the sound of larger spaces such as halls and other physical spaces. So you can get like, I don't know, just like a large hall or arena. And there's delay pedals. So delay pedals takes a signal and then it repeats it over time. So, either a short or a long time. And then the basic controls allow you to choose like the times of how long it will last and the strength of the repeated signals. And then also the balance between the incoming signal and the delayed signal. So you get more control over that really. The end of week 5, good progression because I was moving on to learning the solo. I was playing it fairly well, still quite a few mistakes, and I was still following the YouTube video, the tab. So week 6 I wanted to improve that way, getting rid of the tab obviously, and then just trying to thin out the amount of mistakes. Then the guitar research I did on the effects, useful again for my future reference because I'll be able to include different effects on my guitars when I'm writing my own music really. So that's the rest I'll show you on my website. So week 6. Yes, this is it, week 6. So week 6 I wanted to, as I said, improve the way I was playing the solo, so make sure there's less mistakes, and then being able to play it just off memory, so without any prompts or anything, or following a sheet. Which I did achieve to do in this video here. So like I was just practicing it week, like practicing it daily, trying to get better. And then the research for this week was more of a practical session because in class we did a guitar maintenance lesson where we learned how to properly clean down the neck and the fretboard and the body of the guitar. And then we also attached new strings. So there's video demonstrations here of us using lemon oil to clean the fretboard with a toothbrush. And then there's an in-depth video here of my tutor restringing a guitar, like the best possible way, because sometimes you can get people restringing guitars and then like not the best way, so they're like always going out of tune. But he showed us his most reliable way of applying strings to get the correct amount of tension, so it doesn't go out of tune when you start playing it really. So there's a good lengthy video there of him going through it. And then I thought end of week 6, I'd made progress, I'd memorised the solo and wasn't needing to use the YouTube video anymore. And then, I knew I was ready to start recording into Logic to be able to play it just over the backing track with just my guitar. The research I did was guitar maintenance. I'll be able to use this knowledge in the future as I'll be able to look after and clean my own equipment really. So it's not something I really, obviously I thought about doing it, like changing my strings and that, but taking proper care of my equipment to make sure it's just the best it possibly be, and like been nice to play. Week 7, this is when I recorded my solo. So I found the backing track for the song on here, and then this is me. So obviously this backing track doesn't have any guitar playing over the solo, so then I recorded into Logic, me playing the solo over the top of the song. So I'll play the track, so it's just me playing over top. Yeah, so that was my final thing really, because that was the original thing I wanted to be able to complete, and I managed to do it by week 7. So yeah, so that's the final record of me playing it. I realised how I have improved because I actually managed to be able to play this scale, and that was the original thing I wanted to do. So in this, I was happy with how I played it because I didn't really make any major mistakes noticeable, so I thought it was a good recording. The only thing I would have wanted to work on a bit more was just trying to match the tone to the original song a bit more. But so yeah, if I was to do it again, that would be the only thing I would change about it. I was happy with the way I played it, just didn't sound identical to the song just due to the tone. So if I had the chance to do it again, I would just put more effort into trying to match the tone properly. And then yeah, week 8 was just me basically just gathering on from my information and then planning to put it in all into a presentation to be able to do this now really. So I didn't do any more research. So yeah, in conclusion, for my whole project I'd say I'm very happy with the way I progressed, because I went from knowing nothing about really how to play pentatonic scale, being able to improvise, being able to play like solos using it, and then so I'm happy with the amount of research and the way I've progressed, because obviously I was managed to be able to write my own solo, improvising, so I was improvising in the weeks like over different backing tracks, just trying to improve my skills, and I could see visible progress in me to be able to do it, like just getting more comfortable playing all the shapes, knowing where everything is in the major and the minor. And then obviously I achieved my goal, so I'm happy with it. The only thing I would have done is maybe just chosen a more difficult solo at the end, because I realised if I wanted to improve my skills even more, I would have just done one that would have chosen a solo with a bit more complex skills. But I think I managed to play this as well as I could really, so I'm happy with that. And then so yeah, that's the only thing I would have changed. I'm happy with all my research, because that'll be very beneficial for me in the future, as I'll be able to take it all in with me when I want to write my own stuff, look after my equipment. So all good.